The Buccaneers are being introduced from Tampa Stadium. Incredible. B-U-C-C-A-N-E-E-R-S. Go Bucs! And I've never heard a chant like this.
Well, you're from Florida, but this whole area has been turned on by a football team, and it's really a great thing. I've never seen people collectively to down one.
Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine. We're in trouble, that's okay. We can pull it out because we know we're on the top. When we stand up and shout. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine. Give a cheer for the Buccaneers, go Bucs! Give a cheer for the Buccaneers, go Bucs!
Yes, it is. Go Bucs. Welcome to a special Wednesday night edition of Pigskin Thursday. I'm your host, Larry Frank. And boy, what a show we have for you tonight. We have special guests. We have breakdowns. We have recaps. Oh, baby, what a show that we have for you tonight. And first of all, we want to remind everybody that is watching with us this evening that tonight's show is brought to you by Apex Gift Card. That's right, Apex Gift Card, committed to saving you money every single day. If you're looking for a gift, maybe just a way to say thank you, I'll tell you what, it's Apex Gift Card is the way to go. Go to apexgiftcard.com. They got loads of gift cards from entertainment to restaurants to department stores. It's incredible. There's not a gift card you can't get at apexgiftcard.com. We want to thank all of you for joining us today on Frankly Speaking Sports. And what a great, great show we have for you tonight. First of all, we'll be breaking down both the actual game this weekend between the Lions and your very own Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're looking forward to that. But just to remind you, two very, very special guests in store for you tonight. First, we're going to have Dwight Stone at about 9:20. Dwight will be joining us. He is a former linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the Carolina Panthers, for the New York Jets. Also became a police officer after his time in the NFL. So just a great, great interview. And then following Dwight Stone, just when you think, the good can't get better, it gets better and better and better. We're going to have three-time Michigan sportswriter of the year and Detroit Lions beat writer Dave Birkett will be joining us to break down the game between the Buccaneers and your very own the Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Excuse me there, folks. So, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to move a couple of things around here. Want to remind everybody that is listening on several different platforms, if you can please do me a favor and go ahead and just hit the share button on your timeline, I would surely appreciate it. We have lots and lots of things to talk about today, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity. Want to welcome Eric from Gainesville on tonight. Eric, thank you so much. A definite guy that listens all the time to us. We want to thank you so much. But for all you Buccaneer fans on different platforms, please go ahead, leave a comment, let us know you're there. Maybe even let us know what platform you come from. I'll give you a little plug there, and we'll talk some Tampa Bay Buccaneer football throughout this evening. Once again, if you're just joining us, we are about 15 minutes away from former NFL. I said linebacker earlier. I meant wide receiver, kick returner, and also running back. Dwight Stone will be joining us. Then followed by that, Dave Birkett, the Detroit Lion beat writer. So we're in for a long, long, long show tonight. Let's get right into it and start about this upcoming game. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 9-5, take on the Lions, 5-9. Now, let's take a step back here, folks, and don't think just because you're playing a team that's 5-9, that it's sort of automatic give me. We saw what happened with the Rams and the Jets this weekend, and nothing in the NFL is guaranteed. Now, Tampa Bay does have a 2-game winning streak, and all they need to do this weekend is win the game, and they're in. It's that simple. A Tampa Bay win or a Chicago loss will put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the playoffs. The Lions, meanwhile, who I said are 5-9, have lost 2 in a row, 4 of their last 5 games, and they're a team who's in disarray right now. Looking for a GM, has some COVID issues, and we'll get into a lot of that conversation a little bit later. I want to also thank our buddy Eric for watching us on YouTube. For those of you that don't know, we do have a YouTube channel as well. So you can actually right now watch us live on YouTube, on TV, sitting in your chair with a beer and snack with your feet up while this show is going on. Technology is great, great, great. And, you know, one of the things we're going to talk about and get into this game this Sunday, we already recapped the game and the comeback versus the Falcons, so we're not going to get into it, but Tom Brady is playing his 300th career game this weekend. He's looking to throw 2 more touchdown passes, which will give him 6 straight games where he threw 2 touchdowns or more. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford for the Detroit Lions, what can you say? The guy has a heart of gold. He's only 226 yards away from his 8th season of having 4,000+ yards for the 8th time in his career. You know, and one of the things the Tampa Bay needs to realize here, although they're going up against a team who is terrible on the defensive side of the ball, this is a team on the passing side of the ball who is ranked 6th in the NFL and has an incredible weapons on offense. When you look at DeAndre Swift, you know, you still got Adrian Peterson, you got Marvin Jones, you know, and you got a couple of other players as well on this team that are very, very good with the ball. I believe TJ Hutchinson, their tight end is a beast as well. So, you know, look out for this team coming out strong. And we're going to talk about the 3 keys to the game. And obviously, I don't even have to get to that point for all of you to realize that the Tampa Bay have to go ahead and they have to come on strong at the beginning of the game. Want to thank our buddy Tommy from Temple Terrace, as always, a regular listener. Thank you so much, Tommy. It's great to have you on. Thank you, buddy, for coming on tonight. Rob Thompson, the president of the #1 fastest growing internet website right now, crewforlife.com. If you're not a member of it, want all your Buccaneers stuff, all your information, all the great times they're having at tailgate parties, go to crewforlife.com. And, you know, we were talking about this, and one of the things that they have to start out fast. Last 2 games, you know, I can think of 4 games already this season when we came out, if not more, lackadaisical, fell behind, and had to come back to win ball games. And it's not a formula for success. You've heard Bruce Arians say it. You heard Byron Leftwich say it about this is a team that if they could play a full 60 minutes of football, it's going to be incredible to see what they can do in the playoff. This is a good football team. And it's not just the offense. You know, everybody thinks of the offense. Well, Tom Brady doesn't do great in the first and second quarter. This is the defense, guys. The defense comes out. They're lackadaisical. They make a lot of mistakes up front. And between Byron Leftwich on the offensive side and Todd Bowles on the defensive side, they have to do something to spark these guys up, to get them fired up. So the first minute of the game, they're playing like the first minute of the second half. And, you know, they know that. They understand that. But let me explain something to you. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 9-5. They play the Detroit Lions this weekend, and then they close at home versus the Atlanta Falcons. Should they win? Could they win? And they should win these last 2 games of the season. They finish up the year at 11-5. Unbelievable. Yet, We'll still have people complain because that's what we do here in Tampa Bay. But, when you're 11-5, it's not the team that has the best record going into the playoffs. We say this week in and week out. It's the team playing the best football going into the playoffs. And your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, should they win the last 2 games, would be on a 4-game winning streak. And these are the 2 games to get things fixed. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to make the playoffs. Now, I don't think there's any question or any doubt about that. But if they can come out to play and really start fast, they can, the next 2 games, tweak a couple of things, get that offense going right away in that game. You're going to see a team that is very, very dangerous, could be one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL going into the playoffs. And believe me, Tampa Bay fans, that's what you want. Because once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter what happened before. Doesn't matter who you played before. At the end of the day, it's what's in front of you at the time. And it doesn't matter if it's the Washington football team or if it's the New Orleans Saints you're going to play. Either way, to get to the promised land, you got to beat those teams. But I think if they can just tweak a couple of things, they got 2 games here. They destroyed the Falcons in the second half. They get to play them as a tune-up game before the playoffs should they beat Detroit this weekend. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better for this team. And Tom Brady will tell you, it's how you're playing and how you execute when you get into the playoffs. Well, part of the slow start, has caught everybody's attention. What's wrong with the Bucs? What is it that they're doing the first half of the game and not the second half of the game? Let's see if Antonio Brown can figure out what might be going on.
Antonio, you guys as a team saw in the second half how good you guys can be, but also the frustration of how much that wasn't the case in the first half. How do you get this team to play like that and dominate like that for an entire game?
I think we just got to come out and start fast, come out with more energy. But whatever it takes to get the win. We can't make excuses. I think we could play better, and I think when we watch the tape, we'll see some things that we can improve on.
Thanks, Antonio.
All right, we'll go to Leo Haggerty.
Antonio, since you last played to now with the Buccaneers, has anything changed for a wide receiver in the game, or is it just business as usual?
It's just business as usual. The game don't change, just the players in it. As a player, if you take care of yourself, put yourself in a lot of game scenarios, have a great people around you that keep you prepped and ready for it. It's pretty much the same.
All right, we'll go over to Rick Stroud.
Antonio, when you hear the call in the huddle, I guess you had a couple guys running streaks. I mean, do you know that it's coming to you, or do you read the coverage and figure out that there's no safety help?
Well, I get excited. You got an opportunity, call out go route. So it's a chance the ball going to come to you, but just running to win. So I was just running to win, decided to get an opportunity if it came to me. So I just stepped on the gas and put myself in a great opportunity and put my eyes back. Hopefully the ball was on the way.
Last one's going to come from Jenna. All right, last one's going to come from Jenna Lane.
Hey, Antonio. I don't know if you're able to share this with us or not, but both Coach Arians and Tom both gave you big hugs after that touchdown. Are you able to share what was said with you guys, what Coach Arians said with you, what Brady said to you, or what any of your teammates said to you after that?
Man, I'm just grateful that these guys believe in me, giving me the opportunity to come here and be a part of the team, and putting my hand in the pile to help these guys win. And they were super excited for me, and I'm super grateful for it.
And that was Antonio Brown. And boy, he should be happy. Ever since he's gotten here, all he's been being done is ridiculed by the media, by the fans, and he's probably been one of the most consistent, I must say, one of the most consistent receivers that we have on this team, right up there with everybody else, and Godwin and Evans. Just playing some great football. But, you looked at a couple messages while we were listening to Antonio Brown, and I think Tommy, 3 keys of the game that I said. Number one, Tommy hit it right off, right on the nose. The Bucs need to score first, and they need to score often. They need to come out, put some points on the board, and pretty much take Detroit. If you guys think Detroit is going to come into this game and just lay down and let the Bucs beat them, you've got something coming to you. You got too many classy guys who know how to win on that team. Matthew Stafford, you got Adrian Peterson, you got Brown, you got Danny Amendola. These guys know how to win football games, and they're not just going to lay down. Now, understand a couple of things. While Detroit does have the 6th best passing offense in the league, Tampa Bay has the 8th best. But where the main difference on these two teams is the defense side of the ball. Detroit's overall rank on defense in this league is 30th, while the Bucs is 6th. So there's only 2 teams in the NFL that are worse on defense than the Detroit Lions. That we've proven something. That doesn't mean anything when you play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have to play better. We have to start from the get-go. We have to start at the beginning of this game. Our corners need to be in sync. You can't have Sean Murphy Bunting making these mistakes, looking like he doesn't know where he's at, like he's almost in a daze or confused out there when the ball is being thrown to his side of the field. Now, whether that's the coverage they've been starting out with or the scripting, as the coaches call it, the execution has to be there. And if that doesn't work at the beginning of the games, and, if that's what you've been doing, Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles on the defensive side at the beginning of these games, then we need to go ahead and alter it to what you've been doing in the second half of these games and start it off like it's the second half. Because this team will not and cannot the servers is down. Okay. Let me tell him, give me 1 second. But, they're going to have to score fast, and they're going to have to, they cannot start off slow. They're going to have to get some of these big defensive plays. Understand that Matthew Stafford has been sacked 37 times this year. 37 times, which is a lot. So understand that. Let me get this message from okay. Let me give Dwight my phone number so he can call in. So we will have him live. Because we're going to go ahead and have him call us in. So we will do that. He should be calling in a minute, folks. So we're about a minute away from having Dwight Stone on with us. He just texted me that he will be calling in a moment. So we're looking forward to that. But we got to start out quick. This is a team that we have to jump on, and this is a team that we should destroy. Tom Brady could possibly throw for 500 yards in this game with 4 touchdown passes. That's how bad this defense is on the other side of the ball. But you can't wait till the second half. Well, in the second half, I'm sorry, I'm just reading the message, folks, from Dwight. He'll be calling in once. He's just staying updated with me. But this is a team you got to score on. You got to score on quickly. You got to score on often. And then we talked about the defense needs to come out fast. And then the last thing is you got to establish the run. You have to run the ball, and you should be able to run the ball effectively. These are 2 games in a row where you should be able to practice your well-balanced offense and let the running backs get 20 to 25 touches in a game. Use the clock management because you will need the running game when it comes time to go ahead and play in the playoffs. Those of you joining us, we're about a minute away from having Dwight Stone on. Followed by Dwight, we're going to have Detroit Lions beat writer Dave Birkett will be joining us immediately following. So we have a lot of things to talk about throughout this show today, and it should be just about a moment. We'll go ahead and have Dwight Stone on. But after that interview, then the Detroit Lion beat writer Dave Birkett will be joining us live to break down the game between your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor, my great thrill to introduce to you on the Frankly Speaking Sports Pigskin Thursday CrewForLife.com hotline. Let's welcome in former NFL kick returner, running back, wide receiver. I call him Mr. Offense. Let's welcome in Dwight Stone. Dwight, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing fine, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Oh, Dwight, I'm doing terrific. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening on Frankly Speaking Sports. We really, really do appreciate you being on today. Give me 1 sec. I'm just fixing a couple. We have everything. Okay, there we are. I switched us on the screen. That way everyone would know who you are. They don't think I'm Dwight Stone, you know? So, Dwight, thanks again for joining us, buddy. I know it's right before the holiday, and I really do appreciate having you on with us tonight.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm glad I could be a part of your show.
Yeah, talk about when you were signed. You signed as an undrafted free agent by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then not only do you get on the team, but you make the starting opening day roster, which, if I'm correct, you were the only undrafted free agent at that time to make the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, it was a blessing. It's something that I really worked hard, and I guess Coach Snow and his staff, saw a bit that I should be a part of the Steeler organization, and I took nothing for granted from the time I got onto the field until I left Pittsburgh. I always wanted to keep them as a positive, light for them blessings.
Yeah, and I mean, why don't you do this? You go on to a team that has so much tradition, Dwight. I mean, of winning, of being successful, the Rooney family, and all this success. What was it like to be, and I know you played with Carolina and the Jets as well, but what was it like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, knowing you're playing, where you had some of the greatest wide receivers in, John Stallworth, Lynn Swan. You had some great running backs with Franco Harris, Rocky Bly, the guys that played right before you. What was that like?
I'm going to tell you, Frank, from the time I got on to walked in the Springfield Stadium, it was a class act. I mean, the reason I knew I was in the right place is, after praying a lot and asking God to guide me in the right direction, right before the final cut, we was back in Springfield Stadium, my first time going to Springfield Stadium after trying out. I'm in there sitting in my locker, everybody on pins and needles, at least I know I was, because it was the final cut. This was like, hey, I see guys grabbing their bag. Hey, man, I'll see you later. I'm thinking, oh, man, just a matter of time. So I got my head inside the locker, so I ain't looking nowhere around. And lo and behold, Mr. Rooney, the father, walks in the locker room. I'm like, wow, Mr. Rooney. I actually see him on television, with the snow and all the Pittsburgh. He's walking toward me. I'm like, okay, this is not good. So I get in the locker a little tighter. He said, hey, Dwight. So I said, yes, sir, Mr. Rooney. I said, all right, what can I do for you? He said, how's everything going? I said, just here, just waiting to hear some news. He said, and this is how I found out I made the team. He said, congratulations on making the team. I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. Mr. Rooney, this is Mr. Rooney, Mr. Rooney. He's telling me I made the team. But I'm still, I'm not kidding. He said, hey, I heard that you was the fast one. I said, sir, I'll be the fast one. I'll be the slow one. As long as you put me on this team, I'll do whatever needs to be done.
Right.
Well, part of the team.
Well, Dwight, I'm going to show a little video that you won't be able to see because you're not on. It's going to take about a minute. I want to show the fans it. After it's over, I'm going to describe it to you. And, of course, I'll know you remember it. But so I'm going to go ahead and play that for about a minute so the fans can watch it, okay?
All right, buddy.
6 and 24 for 48 yards. Those are not numbers you bring to the bargaining table tomorrow. No. a nice one it is. Here's Dwight Stone running in the open field. A great open field block by Lewis Lips. And Dwight Stone will go the distance. And finally, the Steelers hit the big play. No markers down. And Bobby Brister connects with Stone on a 65-yard scoring play.
That was Bobby Brister throwing 65 yards for you for the. You remember the play? I know you do. It was the last touchdown, right? That Chuck Noll, his team has ever scored. And, you know, Chuck Noll said about you that you were the fastest runner that he's ever seen that he coached in 40 years. You got to play for Chuck Noll. What was playing for Chuck Noll like?
And then you think, if people think I'm kidding when I say this, I have never met he won't talk to me. He's back there showing me how to catch kicks. He's back there with me. And this is Coach No now, 4 Super Bowls. You know, people know him around the world. He's taking time with me catching returns. They called me to come out early, we can catch him again. And we became where it was like a father-son, and people don't know this, and we used to have some of the deepest conversations, and he was showing me tricks on how to catch the ball and how to do this. But he is by far the most humble, loving guy. And I'm going to tell you another story. I can hold you up. But yes, after my rookie year, after I made the team, in Three River Stadium, the family meets you after the game in a lounge area. Okay, I have no family, so I just walk right through, and go to my vehicle. And all of a sudden, I see the doors open up behind me. I see everybody run to. I'm like, wow, who's that walking out? Who's that coming out? It's Coach No and his wife. Okay, and as Coach No said, hey, can y'all hold on a second? He walks over to his electric 225. I remember the vehicle. He opened the door for his wife. His wife get in. He closed the door. He goes around to the driver's side. He opened the door, turn the air on, comes back out and starts signing autographs. He's like that. Had to be there for 45 minutes. I'm like, look at this. Here's a guy who could have went through the back door, could have a limousine waiting for him, could have the most humble people in the world. And the Bruins are the same way too. Yes. That right there, I said, I know how to be a professional. He said, never turn down an autograph because one day they ain't going to that autograph.
Right. Now,
yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, but I'm listening.
Now, I know you did a lot of special teams. I remember a Monday night football game where I think you were playing the Houston Oilers. I mean, you had a good run from 91 to 93. I mean, you had over 100 receptions, 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns. And then you had that, I think it was a Monday night football game, a touchdown. I think it was a kick return your first year playing, if I remember, to win a game where you ran it back 92 yards.
It's just one of those things, Frank. Like I said, when I came to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the way the Rooney accepted me, and the way Coach No accepted me and the coaches, I never took anything for granted, and I always, no matter what was on the line, I wouldn't give it my best. And I left there knowing that I did what I was supposed to do, is like to have the Steeler name, and even to this day, I hold the Steeler up as the top of my list of places that I have enjoyed in life.
Yeah, and I mean, I can only imagine the tradition. So what was it like? You played in several playoff games. What, you play to win the game. I mean, you play to get to the Super Bowl. That's where, that's your whole goal. And you got to play in many playoff games. I mean, what was it like for you? Okay, you play, you work your butt off the whole year, and you get to a playoff game.
It's like it's all or nothing now. Now you know that you have guys who didn't make the playoff. Everybody's watching. You got everybody watching. Everybody wants to see what you're about. You got your family. You got your friends. So you're thinking like, I gotta do good. I can't falter now. So I mean, it's something like Christmas every day. I tell people when I was going to work. Now I don't consider it work. I consider it fun. They pay you to work out. They pay you to take care of your body, which you should anyway. And they do all this and for something that you love to do. And I still to this day, I can't understand how guys can throw that away by making stupid decisions and things they do and things they say, and I just shake my head and I cringe.
Now, how are you able, Dwight? I mean, here you are, you're a kick returner, you're a receiver, you run the ball, you're always, in the spotlight where you can take one good hit and bam, and you still manage to play 14 years in the NFL.
Yes, and that's funny you say that, and the one thing I regret was I missed one game because of a hamstring pull, and I should have played that game. That was Coach Cowher call, and I respect his call. But yeah, I believe in working out year round. I mean, even to this day, I work out like 6 times a day. I don't kill myself, but I take care of myself. I have 3 girls, and I have a wife, and I want to be able to understand that Dad can take care of himself. I'm gonna do things I'm supposed to do because this is God's temple, my body. And but like I said, during the season, I worked out year round. I never took a day off. Well, I took time off, I should say, maybe a couple of weeks. But I always got back to working out year round, and I think that's one of the reasons that I stayed healthy.
Yeah, and I want to try to put the Coach Cowher. I mean, you played for him as well. We talked about Chuck Noll, 2 great coaches. There's been a little rumor, he's been out of the game for a little while now, that he might be thinking about, actually not might be, he would maybe like to consider coming back and coaching in the NFL. How do you think Coach Cowher would fare in today's game? You saw John Gruden take a lot of time off. Coach Cowher has taken a lot of time off. Do you think I know he's good enough to adapt to anything, but it's a different game. I mean, the defenses were a lot tougher back then. The offenses was so much more well-balanced. Do you think Coach Cowher can come back and still be a great coach like he was back then?
He could, but it will take time because in this day and time, it's almost like the players run the team. Because of what they're getting paid and how they're acting. I mean, I love Juju. I think he's a nice young man. I think he got his head on straight, not in trouble. But I think he needs to learn and about being a professional. And that's one thing, Coach Tomlin, give guys opportunity, to understand, you got to be a professional. But Coach Cowher would pull you aside the first time you did that. That's the difference between them. And Coach Noll would have not accepted you being on the bench next to him if you were doing that. But, each coach is different. I think Coach Cowher will come back, could come back and could make a difference. But it'll take a little time for him adjusting to them and them adjusting to him. Then, like back in the old days, you knew what was expected of you, and you did it. Guys nowadays, they'll talk back to you, like, I get paid more than you, so what are you going to do? I'm on the contract. So back then, we didn't have guaranteed contracts.
Right. That's right. So let me ask you this, Dwight. Earlier in the week, some sad news, for a guy that I know you played with when you were with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and, just unexpectedly, Kevin Greene passed away.
Yes.
Talk about Kevin Greene, what he was like as a teammate. We all know what he was like as a player. We got to, the fans got to see this, but everybody I seem to talk to, that has either played with him or come in contact with Kevin Greene says not only was he a great player, but he was even a better person. Why don't you talk about Kevin Greene, your teammate that passed away?
Kevin Greene, like you hit everything that I could have said. You hit it right on spot. Kevin Greene is the type of person back in the Western days. If you walk into a saloon, you want to go in with him because he's gonna have your back coming out. So you ain't got to worry about it. So he's the kind of guy that Kevin was like the first guy in working out and one of the last guys leaving. He reminded me of so much of Mike Webster, and I copied myself after Mike Webster. Kevin Greene would not go out during the season. He told me that he said, Stoney, he'd never go out and eat. He never went out. From the time he started football, when his season started, you never saw him out. He'd go to practice. I guess him and the wife, after the game, he'd go straight home or he'd go somewhere. But yeah, he was a professional, nicest guy in the world. He always called me, he said, Stoney Dog. He said, what's going on, brother? Always positive. I've never, and I ain't want to see him mad. Ever seen him mad, but nice, talk to anybody, no matter what position you were. you can go talk to him, and he give you the undivided attention and give you his honest opinion about things. And that's one of the guys that people didn't get to meet him outside of the football area. And his wife, Tara, I've been praying for her. She's a sweet young lady. I mean, her singing the national anthem. I saw him looking all prideful with his chest all out, you know. And I know he has a son named Gavin who's playing football right now. But Kevin is a guy that if you met him, you want him for your next door neighbor. He's the type of person that you want to go fishing with. I mean, he was open to a lot of things, but one thing he's a man of God, and he loved his family and his friends.
Yeah, and he will surely be missed. I can tell you that much. Hall of Famer in every category of the word, definitely. Sony, you went ahead after football, and I want to talk about this because I think it's real interesting. And you went into law enforcement. Did you know when you were playing football, before you were done and knew your career was over, did you have the idea that you wanted to become a police officer, or is that something you decided while you were playing or after you were playing?
Matter of fact, I was playing. I was interning. I had an internship with the FBI. I had that internship with them for a couple of years, and my special agent who I had, he pretty much, showed me, the steps and how you get to, a government job and how you get to FBI. And I was on track, for everything. But I played a little longer than I was supposed to. That's God given, which is a blessing and a curse. Because in a government job, you have to have 20 years to retire, and being that I played beyond that acceptance age, I couldn't become an agent. So when I came down to Carolina, I made some good friends, in the police department, and I told them that one day I'm coming back, I'm become a police officer. They're like, yeah, Dwight, quit playing. That's when I was playing ball. No, you ain't coming back here. You just making this up. So after I retired from the Jets, I went down and I signed up. They said, wait a minute, is this Dwight Stone that we know? And then we went to the academy. Everybody thought it was a joke. It's like, oh, Dwight playing this little attention getter. He ain't going to be here. Everybody betting out. I'm here for a couple of weeks, for a month. After 14 years, I'm retired. I had so many people come up to me and apologize. They said, Dwight, we want to apologize because we all had business. You wouldn't be here, and they said, never once did I ever want any kind of favoritism. I never want anything to be attention. I never brought up football. I never talked about anything unless they talk about it. I talked about it, but other than that, you would have never known I played football. Even at my house right now, if you walked in, you would never see anything in here that would tell you that I played football. And I had neighbors get mad at me for years. They said, I never told them I played football. I said, I didn't know I was supposed to. I said, we're neighbors, so why should I tell you that? And then all of a sudden, everybody want to talk football then.
Right.
But yes.
So, Dwight, let me ask you this. When, you were playing football, you wanted to become a police officer. How much more difficult would you say, knowing what you know today, is it to become not to become, but to be a police officer in the society we live in versus the days when you played football?
It's almost like a punishment to become a police officer. I'm going to explain why I say that. Because you're out there trying to do your job, the young lady or young man officer are trying to do their job. You're being scrutinized no matter what you do, how you do it, there's going to be something wrong. I mean, you out there, you're away from your family, you're putting your life on the line. They ain't making a lot of money. Believe me, I know. I saw that first paycheck. I was like, what is this? Coming from the league. And people take it for granted on what they do. I wish people who complain and always have all the correct answers, go out there and patrol with them sometime. Go to them from 11 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning, or from 10 to 7 or whatever. I said, go out there with them. These young ladies and these young men go out there. I know you got bad apples in everything. Even in football, bad apples, basketball, lawyers and everything. So, yeah, some in the police office, some are like that. But there's not, I can name 0 on my hand that I had a problem with working with. It didn't matter either green, red, purple, we all were together. But now, become an officer, they don't make enough money to become a police officer now. They don't give enough benefits because you got to fight not only for, what you're doing, like you're going to arrest somebody, they acting a fool, sorry to say it like that, and you tase them, because, they get out of hand. Everybody can complain about that. Oh, I saw it. See, everybody has the answers, but no one will go out there and do the job. They have openings right now. If you can do a better job, go sign up. But you don't see them signing up.
Right.
And the same people that you cussing you out and throwing things at you, sometimes you be at their house the next week because of domestic violence or something else that happened to them. And now they want you to help them after they done curse you out and threw things at you and call you names. I've been on both sides, so I can say that. So anybody want to question me, I can get my number, But yeah, I'm all about being fair with people. But there's a lot of young men and young ladies out there who are doing the right things, and people are taking advantage of them. And this lootering stuff too, that's just BS. You have people out there who work hard, who starting their family-owned company or whatever for years, and you burn them down. You trying to justify that? Don't justify me. You can't justify that to me. I'm a man of God, and I never saw in the Bible where it said, you go and attack an innocent person. I haven't seen that anywhere.
Right.
So sorry to get on my soapbox, but yeah, it kind of like
because
when people mistreat officers, for what they do.
And let me ask you, you're leading right into a great question before I let you run, Dwight, is how do we get, there's been a lot of injustice. I don't think anybody can hide the fact. There's a lot of stereotype in this world. There's a lot of prejudice, and we know we're never going to get rid of all of it. No matter how hard we try, we can lessen it, but there's always going to be somebody out there that is a bad apple, like you said. So my question to you is, with the people seeing some of the injustice that was done in Minnesota and in other parts of the United States with police officers, how do we go about getting the trust back in the people that police officers are good people? They are there to help us. They are not there to hurt us like some of these, like you called, bad apples. There's bad apples, like you said, in football. That doesn't make football a bad game. Just like in being a police officer, it doesn't make every single police officer a bad police officer. So how do we, and I don't know if you know the answer, but how do we go about, leading the United States back into trusting their police officers?
See, and the main thing is like your neighbor. I'm going out there, I'm going to call, let me see what I'm doing. Let me justify. You justify, treat me as the individual. We met. How am I treating you? I don't know how somebody treated before or how they did before. It's like having a girlfriend, you break up, you get a different girlfriend, now you're looking for, okay, I don't have the same problem, or you can go on there on eggshell. Treat me, because I was a school resource officer also, and I've always worked with people and saying, take me for who I am. Don't look at the badge. Look at me as a person first. Let me come in there. Let me see what's going on. Then you judge me by that. Don't judge me by a pre-notion of something happened to somebody, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Okay, it happened. But it ain't mine. Don't take it out on me.
Right.
Because I'm here trying to do the right thing. I'm here to help you. So give me an opportunity. Don't judge me on what somebody else did. Judge me on what you see from me. And the main thing is I think this state did get back into the Word of God. I think everybody losing, the faith in their guidance. Need to get back in the church, and then everybody need to get together and start enjoying themselves. You can go to a ball game, you see black, white, green, and purple. Everybody having a great time. Why can't they do that same thing you do at sports event in the real life?
Absolutely. Yep. Well, Dwight, listen, buddy, I know it's the holidays and everything. I want to thank you so very, very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us some of that here on our Pigskin Thursday, Frankly Speaking Sports Show.
Right, it's never a problem, my brother. I wish you and your family a blessed Christmas, and if you ever need me, hey, hit me up. I'll be more than glad to do whatever I can do for you.
All right, my friend, and you and yours have a great holiday as well, my friend.
And you same here. You have a blessed day.
You too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
That was Dwight Stone, former NFL wide receiver, running back, kick returner for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Carolina Panthers, and also the New York Jets. I'm going to grab this picture, get it down. We are minutes away from having Detroit Lion beat writer Dave Birkett on with us. Let me text him right now. Let him know. I told him I'd let him know when I was ready. Let me go ahead and do that. So now he knows I'm ready. And we will have him on in a moment. But a great, great conversation. Here's a guy that was working for, in football and then went into law enforcement, and really, really proud guy. I mean, very proud of being in law enforcement, and deservingly so. I mean, he's worked hard for it, always wanted to do it. And before we go ahead and get Dave on, want to let you know that tonight's program is sponsored by Apex Gift Card. That's right, Apex Gift Card. Go to apexgiftcard.com if you're looking for any type of gift cards, whether it's entertainment like the movies, food like restaurants, department stores like JCPenney's or Norman Strand, and all those other ones out there. Go to Apex Gift Card. There is no easier way to take care of all your gift card needs than going to apexgiftcard.com. Real simple. You go there, they'll give you a whole directory, and within minutes, you'll have your gift card. Still looking for a Christmas gift? Hey, go to Apex Gift Card. Looking to thank someone for something they did? Looking for graduation? Someone just graduated? Apex Gift Card. The easiest way. There's no reason to stress over finding somebody a gift. Go to my buddies at apexgiftcard.com, and they will take care of all of your gift card needs. We want to thank them very much for being a sponsor tonight of our show. It's great to have them. We are minutes away from having Dave Birkett, beat writer of the Detroit Lions, joining us. I'm going to keep an eye on my emails. Let me make sure. Let me go ahead and also tape him a message that I'm ready. Yep, no wonder why. Let's see. All right, so that's taken care of. We should hopefully have him on within a couple moments, and we'll break down the Detroit Lions and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So don't go away, folks. We got lots and lots and lots of still to talk about coming up this weekend. But, we talked earlier. Let's see what he says. All righty. All right, so Dave is got held up. He said it'll be about 5 more minutes, so we'll go ahead and keep talking about the Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. Those of you that want to leave a comment, want to talk about it, we got some time before Dave comes on. Go ahead and let's see what he says. It's 5 minutes. I'll wait. But he's just taking care of something. He said he'll be on within 5 minutes. But, we talked about Tom Brady. Tom Brady having a great year. What a great, great second half he had in that game versus the Falcons, getting over 320 yards. I think it was like 31 of 45, 390 yards in that game. So just a great, great, performance by Tom Brady. But, I thought for one thing that I liked about Tom Brady in this game that you're going to really start admiring as we get to the playoffs is the distribution of the football to so many different weapons. We know we have the weapons, but the distribution was never as even as it was last game when you look at, whether it was Cameron Braid, whether it's Evans, whether it's Godwin, whether it's Antonio Brown, whether it's Gronkowski, whether it's a couple passes out of the backfield, and we still won't know until tomorrow about Ronald Jones, whether he's going to be playing or not. But, this is a game that, they can't defend you. They can't double team you because you have too many good weapons on this team. You go ahead and you double team Mike Evans. Then you leave Godwin and Antonio Brown and Gronk open. Okay, so you go ahead and you double team Gronk. What happens? Now you got Evans, Godwin, and Brown. I mean, any way you look at the combination on this team of how you're going to team up against them, it comes down. The key to this game is going to be protect Tom Brady again. It's been like that all season. We, especially in the first half of that game versus the Falcons, even part of the second half, did not do a very good job protecting number 12. He got sacked 3 times. I think he got hit another 6 or 7 times in that game. I know Donovan Smith, and we talk about this week in and week out, how the fans never give Donovan Smith enough credit. Well, it showed. It showed Sunday by, having somebody else in there and then not playing as effectively as they played the previous game. So, hopefully these guys will be back. As far as Ronald Jones goes, it wasn't the injury with his finger. It's whether he'll be off this protocol for COVID-19 if he's had enough time to whatever, if it's quarantine or do what they make you do, the NFL, in order to get back to playing football. So we'll have to find out what happens there. As I look at some of these notes here, Dave should be on in a couple minutes. We'll see. If not, then we'll just keep moving right along here. I'm looking at some questions here. All the Bucs need to do is win and they're in. Yes, that is correct. Merry Christmas to Donnie up in Canada. Donnie, I know you're not a Toronto Raptors fan, but they are playing actually here tonight. The first game in Tampa Bay. They're playing at Amalie Arena, and they lost 113-99. So the Raptors are 1-0 on the season. Lowry had 18. Seacom had 20. But they do not prevail, and they lose their home opener in Tampa by the score of 113-99. So Tommy might be happy about that. We are waiting here a couple minutes away from having Dave Birkett on. He was running a couple of minutes behind, so he said he'd be right on. So hopefully, actually, looks like we're about to get him on right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor, thrill, and pleasure to introduce to you. He is the beat writer for the Detroit Lions and 3-time Michigan Sports Writer of the Year. He's even a Hall of Fame voter. This guy does everything. Let's welcome in Dave Birkett. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
The Christmas Eve dinner shopping, so I apologize I was a couple minutes late there.
Hey, I wait till Christmas Eve. It's slower. So you didn't wait long enough. That's what it was.
No, you're right. It was kind of busy at my local Meijer tonight. That's for sure.
Dave, let's get right into it. I mean, there's a lot of different talks. First of all, the latest news coming out of Detroit, and maybe you can fill us here on Tampa Bay, is this COVID-19 that has struck the Detroit Lions defensive side, I believe, of the football, the coaching staff, a lot of staff members, some of the players. What's the latest you're hearing on that?
No, you're right. There's 4 coaches that are currently in quarantine. The expectation right now is that none of them will be available for the game on Sunday. That's interim head coach Darrell Bevell, position coaches. So the Lions are definitely shorthanded on that side of the ball, not only on the field, but in the coaching booth as well. And I mean, I don't know that anyone was going to pick the Lions to win this game anyway. And especially with everything going on COVID related now, it seems unlikely that the Lions are going to make much of a game of it. But hey, this is an opportunity for some of their young assistants, I guess, to maybe prove themselves on a big stage against a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, not only to prove their stage, but also, you're also in need of a general manager, which is, they've been actively pursuing. Any names that are headlining who that might be or who they're trying to have as their number one guy?
Oh, it's still very early. They've interviewed 7 people, but 3 of them were in-house candidates. I don't know that any of those guys has a real shot to get the job. Rick Smith, the former Houston Texans GM, Thomas Dimitroff, who you guys know down there, ex of Atlanta. I think those are probably the 2 most prominent guys, or the 2 guys that have the best chance of getting the full-time job that I've interviewed so far. Louis Riddick also in, and Scott Pioli also in. But they're casting a wide net. This thing is going to go until January. They want to talk to some people that are currently employed with their teams, and I don't think they'll make a decision until they do that.
Before we get into this game coming up this weekend, Matthew Stafford, what is this, his 12th year? He's 32 years old. There's some question on whether, 2 questions, A, being, should they let him play the next 2 games, knowing that he's not 100% healthy, and B, what's the chances of the new regime when they do take over keeping Matthew Stafford there?
Well, in the first one, I think he should play. I mean, look, if it's a situation where it's a pain management situation. So if he's willing to fight through the pain, and he is, I mean, he's a tough quarterback, gutsy guy. I think you put him out there, no matter what the fans want, and that is to get better draft positioning. People are still playing for jobs. That's on the field. That's in the front office, the coaching staff, everywhere. So I have no problem with them playing Matthew Stafford. He gives them the best chance to win. As for next year and his future in Detroit, that's going to be up to the next GM. I mean, I think legitimately, you could make the argument either way. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I mean, there's no doubting that, and you can certainly win with him. But the Lions are in a state right now where they're going to be entering a bit of a rebuild, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And so I don't know how close they are to contention. I don't know if Matthew wants to stay here. He only has 2 years left on his contract, which means, and he turns 33 in February, which means you're going to have to give him a new deal, another $150 million deal or whatever it is, 18 months from now when he's 34 years old. So given the state of the Lions and having a high draft pick, they might want to spend that resource on a quarterback instead.
We go to the game this weekend. It's obviously Bucs win, they're in. Obviously, the Detroit Lions are out of the playoff picture. Detroit, I think a lot, what some people don't realize that are not close to Detroit, although their defense has a lot of opportunities, their passing offense is 6th best in the league. When it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I mean, they got some weapons. I mean, you got an older Adrian Peterson. You got an unbelievable tight end in this Hutchinson guy. You got DeAndre Swift, who is playing, I think, again now. I mean, this is an offensive team that still has some weapons that could, and I say could, exploit some of the weaknesses on the cornerback positions of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And that's, why it's imperative that Matthew Stafford play. But you're right. I mean, look, and they haven't had Kenny Golladay most of the season, who's their best receiver, Pro Bowl player last year. And right now they're without 3 starters on the offensive line, at least in practice. That's going to be tough if they lose some of those guys. Terrell Crosby hasn't played in a couple weeks. I don't expect he will. But Frank Ragnow, their center, Pro Bowl center, he's going to a specialist tomorrow. He's got a fracture in his throat, the cartilage in his throat, can't talk. So he's going to visit the specialist tomorrow to see if he can play. And then their left tackle, Taylor Decker, is out as well. But you're right. The one thing that the Lions can do is throw the ball around the field a little bit. And I would expect that that's how they try to beat the Buccaneers on Saturday.
Yeah. And, the other thing is, and, I don't know if you have the answer for this, Dave, but when you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, especially on paper, they have weapons all over the place on offense. You go ahead and you double team one guy, then you get 3 more all-stars on the other side of the field. I mean, besides protect Stafford on the offensive side of the ball, what does this defense have to do? I mean, or what can they do to stop? You saw what they did against Minnesota in the second half of this game. Are they unstoppable?
Well, I think, Bucs fans should look to at what Tennessee did to the Lions. I mean, that was a game where they were just clearly outclassed, the Lions, that is, where they just defensively, they are, I mean, they are down to their last week, at least they were down to their 7th cornerback for part of the game. I mean, they were playing, they have one starter that's left, but they're missing, they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a bunch of those guys are not on the field. And same thing on the defensive line. They're down 2 of their top, defensive linemen and a couple backups as well. So it's really a situation where the Lions just don't have the horses to keep up. And that's why they're going to have to outscore. They're going to have to score a lot of points. That's at least how they tried to do it in Tennessee. And they're going to have to get some turnovers. If they can get someone on that defensive side of that ball to make some plays, maybe Brady gives them a gift somewhere, but that's about the only hope the Lions have.
And I would think the other thing we just mentioned is they got to protect Matthew Stafford. I mean, here's a guy that's he has, I think, 29 touchdowns, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions this year. So his ratio is good, but he's been sacked 37 times in 14 games. I mean, in order for they're going to have to at least give him time, but it looks like in order for Stafford to be successful versus the Bucs, it's going to be a matter of him getting rid of the ball quickly.
I think that's part of it, and they did a good job protecting last week, and really the offensive line has done a pretty good job overall this season. I mean, they have 2 really good players, but again, those guys might not be on the field. So remains to be seen who's going to be protecting them. But you're right. Stafford can't get him hit. He cannot turn the ball over. The Lions need to maximize their possessions on Saturday.
How high on they? I think he was hurt a little bit, but DeAndre Swift. I mean, how high are the Detroit Lions on this kid?
He's got a bright future. I mean, he needs to be a little more consistent. He's had a couple drops, so had a fumble last week. He drops at crucial times, that is. So there's some things that young guy needs to work on. Had a little bit of a slow start because he was dinged up in camp, and it took him a minute to get in the playbook. But he's the most explosive back that they have, and I think if Kenny Golladay is on the field, DeAndre Swift is on the field, TJ Hawkinson is on the field, Matthew Stafford is on the field, the Lions have an offense that can compete with just about anyone in the NFL. Just unfortunately, they don't have Golladay, and they got a banged up Stafford, and they're down 3 linemen right now.
And I mean, that's got to be disappointing when you have all these backups playing. I mean, it's great to see what the future holds for you on some of the young guys, but for right now, it's got to be frustrating for everyone involved, knowing that you have guys that have the ability to play the game. Unfortunately, they're too banged up to do so.
Right. And, again, I mean, this is as much as fans here in Detroit are angling for that top 5 draft pick, right? They're looking at some of the quarterbacks in the draft and some of those defensive playmakers, and they think, hey, lose out and let's get one of those guys. You know how it is. The guys that are on the field and in that locker room, they want to win, and that's all that they care about.
I mean, we saw what happened with the Jets and the Rams. I mean, you never know on any given Sunday. Well, that's why you play the games. Let me ask you this question. I always wanted, and I've gotten lots of writers and lots of sportscasters on this show before. Talk about the honor and what it means for a writer like yourself, who's been as successful as you, to be a Hall of Fame voter. I never asked. I've had people that have been, but I've never asked them. I mean, it's got to be a privilege because I would assume not everybody that writes has that privilege.
No, you're right. I mean, there's 48 selectors, so it's a small little fraternity, and it is. I mean, it's a special thing. I think something that maybe when my career's done, you look back on and you say that's cool. You sort of had a small, teeny little bit of hand in history there to help some people get into Canton. And this is actually be my first year as the Detroit representative. It's my duty to present Kelvin Johnson's case to the selection committee. So that's kind of what I'm working on that a little bit right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So in closing, let me ask you this. This Saturday, I almost said Sunday. I'm so used to saying Sunday. Detroit and Tampa Bay. Obviously, we talked about what needs to be done from the Detroit side. Obviously one of the weaknesses that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have, and it's called beginning games. They struggle in the first half, and any team that has gotten to the Buccaneers and that has prevailed has gotten to them, and even in the last 2 games they won, have gotten to them quickly and sometimes often in that first half. Would you assume in order for Detroit to have a chance in this game, they're going to need to take care of the Buccaneers starting slow if they do that?
Well, that's one thing actually the Lions have done fairly well throughout the course of the season is some of their opening game scripts. They've come out and scored, and you look back the first month and a half of the season, the Lions were getting up on teams and some good teams. The Green Bay Packers. I'm trying to think who else they got up on the New Orleans Saints, and then they squandered those leads. So this is a team that when Darrell Bevell is there, they've game planned well out of the gate. And Bevell will still be part of the game plan, but he's not going to be calling the plays necessarily. So we'll see if the Lions can take advantage of Tampa in that area.
So what do you see coming up this Sunday, my friend? If you had a
I made a prediction Tuesday morning before we kind of knew what was going on with all the COVID cases around here, and I had Tampa winning by 7 or 8 points. I forget what it was, and I'm pumping that up a little bit now because I just don't think the Lions, with all they have going on defensively, are going to be able to keep up. I think the offense can score some points, but I just think there's too many things that have gone wrong this week. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is like a 35-21 game at the end of the day.
Well, listen, my friend, first of all, I want to thank you on such short notice for coming on, especially during a holiday week with us to preview this game coming up this Saturday. I want to also wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe.
I appreciate that. Happy holidays to you and all the Bucs fans out there. And sorry I was a second late, but hopefully it'll be worth it at Christmas Eve dinner there tomorrow for me.
All right, bud. Be safe.
All right.
All right, that was Dave Birkett of the Detroit Lions, Detroit Press. He's a writer, Hall of Fame voter, three-time Michigan Sports Writer of the Year. And, you listen to Dave, and you just listen to him, and Buccaneer fans, you know how it is when your team isn't winning, when they're playing disappointing. And remember, the Detroit Lions are probably one of those teams, if you had to pick, I've been one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL. A lot has been hoped for them. A lot has been predicted, and they just never seem to prevail. And, it's a fan base that is just dying to see a winner there in Detroit. And, hopefully, sometime in the near future, they get that turned around. Not that I have a say who should be the GM of this team, but if I'm looking at one guy that I feel has the opportunity and would do a great, great job with the Detroit Lions would be our, frankly speaking, sports buddy, Louis Riddick. I think Louis would fit in. He's probably one of, when you look at the business side of football, and I'm not taking away what he knows about the game of football. I can't think of anyone who better fits that description for the Detroit Lions than Louis Riddick. So, I'm pushing for Louis Riddick. Hopefully the Detroit Lions, they're going to pick who they think is the best fit, obviously, for the job. And I just hope they give Louis Riddick his fair share of getting the opportunity to be general manager of the football team. Because if they do, I think, giving him a couple of years here, I think he'll turn this organization into a winner. That would be my vote. But coming up this Saturday, it's your Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions. And this is a game, again, folks, that we should dominate. We should dominate, and it seems like the keys of our game, it's not rocket scientists. It's the same week in and week out. You need to start fast. You need to establish the run, and your defense needs to come up with some big plays and put pressure on the quarterback. So it's not like a rocket scientist. It just needs to be done. And I think overall the Buccaneers win big in Detroit this upcoming Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, we will not have a show tomorrow, as you know. That's why we did our Pigskin Thursday program tonight. We want to thank everybody, including our sponsor, Apex Gift Cards. Remember, if you're looking for any gift card needs, whether it's department stores, entertainment, restaurants, go to apexgiftcards.com and you'll take care of all your gift card needs. Until Monday, that's right, now until Monday, where we recap the Lions and the Buccaneers. I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Be safe out there, be smart.